Today we're going to pick up where we left off working on these travel journals. So go ahead and grab your journal supplies or some crafts. Maybe even grab a snack and come on back.
Welcome back to Livie's Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel. And I'm your host, Fam the Fabulous. For more ideas, inspiration, swaps, and challenges, click the link in the description below to join our craft community, The Maker Exchange, on Facebook.
Okay, so now in that last video, when I was working on these, I added lace to these pages. Well, maybe it wasn't these pages. These are the pages obviously I need to work on, but it was, yep, it was these pages. So let me turn that around. And my idea was to go ahead and add some stitching to them with, and I add some lace and some pockets and some belly bands and some flip outs and blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to work on them, so I'm going to do it with you guys today. Now, I hope you guys are having a spectacular day. Hope you are inspired to create something that you will enjoy working on, and that it will not be just a labor, but a labor of love. Now, I've showed you guys, I think I grabbed these, I got these from Temu, and I store all of the elements and pages and papers that I've used in here. And I think there's another. No, this is the primary one. I've consolidated a couple of them. So I am just going to pull out some of the spare laces that I had hanging around and see which ones I'm going to work with today. I really got to get back into the swing of recording because in the past few months, I haven't done as much as I normally have done, you know, let's say over the last few years. But nevertheless, we're here now and we will continue. Now, what I need to do is measure to see how far this is going to sit in here and how much room I'll have for the lace. Not much, not much. So I'll just have to overlap the edge. I'll just have enough room to overlap the edge. So I'll do the front and I will do the back as well. I'm gonna cut this here. Once I finish these two journals, I have a couple other journals that I need to wrap up so that they are not works in progress, and put them away. And I find that this this Avery glue stick is pretty good for adhering like the thinner fabrics to paper. Considering I'm just adding enough to I'm only adding enough glue to adhere it because I don't want to put too much on because it's obviously going to be going through the sewing machine. So you got to keep that in mind. Obviously, when you are using your glues, you don't want to gunk up your sewing machine. Actually, I'm trying to think. It was a project that I was working on. And the glue that I was using, what glue was it? No, it wasn't a glue stick. It was this glue. And I did wait for it to dry. And it gunked up the needle. And so what happened when it does that, it'll go through the paper. That's not the problem. The problem is that, the thread won't go through the paper. It'll get stuck while the needle is down, and it won't pull the needle up with the thread so that it can pop down into the next hole. And when it does that, you're punching a bunch of holes in your paper, and you are not necessarily getting a stitch. So, word from the wise. Make sure your glues are dry and don't use too much. If you plan on sewing it, it doesn't really need to be adhered like you would if it wasn't. So that is the outer. Now, I'm not going to put that back through there. I'm not going to put another one of those back through there, but I do have some lace. I'm going to put that in the other journal. Then I need to add some pockets. How did I do those pockets for this one? What did I do in here? Not that they need to be exactly the same, but a little bit of consistency ain't gonna kill us, right? Okay, I'm not gonna replicate that or do it. I might have intended to do so. Let's see. See what I have in this bag. All of these scissors. I think I pulled out 2. I have to cut that down. It'll work. It's a dark turquoise, but it'll work. No one cares about that. Now, for those of you who have subscribed to the channel, I want to take a second to thank you guys for your support, for hanging in there, for those times where there's, you know, a little bit of pause in between the videos. Thank you guys so much for coming back and watching the videos, liking them, commenting on them. And that helps to ensure that the channel continues to grow. In the past 2 or 3 months, it has done so at a rate that was comparable to an entire year. Okay? So, thank you guys again so much for supporting. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't already clicked subscribe, I have no idea what you're waiting on. Here's your personal invitation. Okay? It's free. And you are welcome to join this creative community. Okay? Now, let me go find... I had another frame for this. I think I have it in another folder. I may. Let me just check and I'll be right back. Couldn't find that other frame, but I found a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm just going to go with that. Go with that. Go with God. Now, what's cute is the fact that I ran across that. And this is actually, this will make a cute little insert. So I'll do the same thing with this as I did with the other. But I think I had it like this. And so it was a pocket. It flipped out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to need to cut this down a bit. Again, I found a bunch of other stuff that I wasn't looking for, but we'll use. Nevertheless, I'm just going to use my guillotine. This Fiskars thing is a... it's Old Faithful. Okay, it's definitely Old Faithful. So I'm gonna cut this down here, like so. And just trim a little bit off the top. One thing I found with, let me see, with some of the guillotines is that, or even the regular paper cutters, you can't depend on this part up here aligning properly to allow you to, if this is off just by a millimeter and you have this up against this, you'll never get a completely straight cut, a 90-degree angled cut. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. All right. So I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to leave that as it is because I have a tendency to overcomplicate things well beyond what is necessary. I'm going to do that like that. Is it like this? Do we want to do it like this? And it flip out like that? Or no, we're going to do it like this. We're going to do it like this. And it flip out that way. Yeah, that's better. All right, get it together, girl. I need to get my silicone mat out. Now, you know what? I can sew around the... No, well, can I? No, I don't want to do it because then you would see it on the inside. So I'm going to leave it as it is. Here I go again. I was just saying I can overcomplicate things. And here, my next thought is, how can I overcomplicate this any more than what I'm currently trying to do? All right, let me get my small glue bottle. The one that I keep complaining that I need to replace. That one. You know, because heaven forbid I make this any easier than what it needs to be. Just glue along with no issues or anything like that. That would be too much like, you know, a major brand's promotional channel. Can I get under there? Or is it, do I need to? There we go. All right, then I need to bring out my silicone mat. Let that get in the way a little bit. All right, she's back. All right, let me grab my stuff up underneath here. I just literally slid it over to the side. All right, so where are we now? Let me... All right, now I think what I want to do with this, I want to distress the edges a little bit, just so that it's not as bright. I mean, we want a teal, but do we want it this bright? Not really. And just adding a little bit of distress and kind of tones it down just a little bit, not too much. And I'm not going to do the inside because it's not really necessary. It really is not. Now, where shall I put this is the question. I think it will go well on one of... Why is this like... I haven't even organized the pages in here. Where am I? Okay, let's see. I definitely need to have this on the outside. Here's this one that I was looking for all this time. If I would have just took the time and looked through, that would not have happened. All right, something stuck somewhere. There we go. All right. Now, I like to have plain pages, and like I want to have a colored page next to a plain page. And then something cute or printed next to that. So we'll go with this one. No, we'll go with this one. This one. I hope my pages don't need to be cut back down. And this is just to make sure that the pages flow nicely. I don't like to see a whole bunch of white throughout. I'm going to turn this way because I'll probably stencil on these like this. Yeah. Then we'll have this here. I think that, yeah, that's going to go there. Is that thinner than the rest? This. Then I think we'll do a stencil on the entire inside. I'll probably do those last. The inking and stamping is... I'll do that before I run anything through the sewing machine. So let's get this in here. Now, actually... Where is that page at now? All right, so now this, again, this is from a devotional, and I purposely have that because I like the title pages, and I used, I coffee dyed them and baked them. I baked them. Now I'm going to need, yeah, I'm going to use this here glue here. I'm just going to do an L shape to create the pocket. I hope that's the right way. It is. But you know what? Before I put that in there, let me give you a corner punch. And prayerfully this will fit through before the glue dries. And that was not a good idea, but oh well. It was too rounded. What if we fix that a little bit? reapply that glue a little bit. Okay. I finally cleaned that. If you saw the last video, it was filthy. But you know, when you're crafting, you ain't paying attention to what's clean and what's not. That's what you do when you're not crafting. You pay attention to laundry and stuff, right? All right. So in the comments, my friends, let us know what you're working on. Are you working on a journal? Are you working on seasonal crafts, spring, or what have you? I think that's what I was going to say. Okay, so after I get finished with these works in progress behind the scenes, I'll probably do that. I won't do that on camera. What I would like to do is I would like to use that like that. We'll use that with something. I would like to work on some spring projects. Now, I have not done in quite some time any type of decoupaging. So if that's something you guys want to see, please feel free to drop it in the comments. You know, what you want to see in the upcoming months on the channel, and I'll be happy to oblige. I'm going to make a pocket out of this. Yeah, that's going to be cute. Make a pocket out of that. And, let's see. Actually, I'll put it on this side. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to keep y'all here all day. We just crafting along. Normally, you know what, let me cut this down before I do that, because I'm getting ready to cut the paper to the size of this, but this is actually a little bit larger than what I prefer. So it needs to be cut down a bit. And, you know, summer is quickly approaching. Are we making any plans for any vacations, any family trips, any getaways, any road tripping, girls, you know, what are you guys planning on doing with your summer? I plan on getting in my vehicle with my son and doing a little bit of road tripping this summer. We have a couple of places we need to be. We need to be further south, Midwest, Mid-South. And we also need to be back in New York for a few weeks. So, not sure when all that's going to take place, but you'll know about when I go, when I return. Because I don't even know where I'm going, frankly. So that's 3 3/4 by 4 and 5 1/2, 3 3/4. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Okay, and then it's 5 1/2. We'll make this. And then, of course, some type of a floral embellishment will go on the center, go in the center of that. You know, we got plenty of that stuff. All right, so do I want to try and put it down right now? You know what? Let me see if I have a lady that can go in there. You know what? This came in Happy Mail a couple of years ago, and this came from, let's see who this came from. And I don't know if she's watching. I don't know who watches when, but this came, and I'm so glad that I finally have it, because as I'm pulling it out, I see some other elements that she sent that will go in this journal as well. Sorry for the crinkling for those who don't like it. I personally do, so apologies for that. But isn't this adorable? And I love the fact that there's houses and buildings on this, which, you know, love some architecture. I could put this in here and do something like Home Sweet Home or travel or whatever. We'll figure that out when the time comes, right? Cut that off. So that's going to go with this. And then she's got some sequins in here. Okay, this came from Suzanne. Suzanne's channel is Susanna Lee. Okay, she has a channel here on YouTube, Susanna Lee. It says life's trivialities .typepad Lovelies.com. All right, and she does a lot of scrapbooking. Look at this beautiful sequins mix. I very rarely use sequins. Let's see if is there something, you know, I'm probably going to use this on the outside. That was perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's cute too. All right, so we are going to put Suzanne's goodies to use in this journal. Look at that. Everything matches wonderfully. Okay. Does that? Even that. That's not bad. All right. So moving right along. Let me not get so distracted and overwhelmed with the goods that I forget what I'm here to do. Now I'll put this down. Put this here like so. Yep, that works. Or should we put this front and center? I believe if we put this front and center, this is where all the time goes in, you know, trying to decide what's best for where, you know, not necessarily picking anything. Heaven forbid if I spend a little time actually. Do I want the shiny side or do I want the matte side? This, the shiny side is going to work. If I spent this much time selecting an actual project, I can't imagine that I would ever get anything done. Anything at all. All right. Let's see how that's working. All right, looks good to me. Okay. All right, and then this is going to need to be cut down just a bit. Okay, and then over it, I want to put some type of flower. So I need to check inside my ephemera box and see what loose pieces I have before I go reaching for Tim Holtz. Some new Tim Holtz stuff. Because you know we like the Tim Holtz. Good old cousin Tim. Okay, let us find the, all right, now let's check and see what's in this ephemera box that I have for floral. All right, so this is a lot of the, you know, I could really work to try and organize some of this. You know, this is going to go Paris. I'm going to put that in this journal because I think I did that on my Temu haul demo or something like that. Nevertheless, these are items that I have from my Temu or last Temu order. That's not going to work. That could, but I want actual floral embellishments. So, you know, die cuts, I should say. That's the word I'm looking for. Actually, this is going to go over here. I wish I could use that in that, but it's too raised. I'm going to use that on a card, though. Okay, how about I just stay focused, girl. Just stay focused. All right, what are we looking for? Oh, floral. So sidetracked. So sidetracked, dear Jesus. That's cute. Okay. We are looking for floral. Floral, girl. Just stick with the floral. I can't be the only one who just, you know, the rabbit holes are never ending. Ooh, that's cute. Rabbit holes are never ending. Attention is easily diverted to something else equally as cute. This isn't gonna, that's not gonna work, but this might. Ooh. Okay, wrong color. Didn't I say floral? Oh, gosh. This is clearly going to take longer than it needs to take. Why? Because somebody, me, isn't really sticking with the game plan, which is, you know, get in and get out. It's the story of my life. Oh, that's a chandelier. That's gorgeous. Okay, you know, I might go with this here little look I'm going, working out here. Let's just see if there's anything else in here that will inspire me before I go rumbling and rambling through the new things. Can y'all see in this bucket? Because, okay. We are doing florals, girl. We are doing florals. Where are we? Okay, yeah, this is why we can't get nothing done. She's so easily distracted. Where is it? I almost forgot what it was that I was even looking for. Oh, here it is. It's not even in the journal. All right. She'll get it together one day, guys. All right, but in the meantime, okay. That's cute. That's cute. Maybe there's something in this little pile here. This cute little pink butterfly. Do I feel like fussy cutting? I don't. So we're not. We're not going to do it. We shall not. Okay, I think we've got what we came for. Yeah. That's what I think. I think we got what we came for. Yeah. Okay, now that we have that understood, let us consider, if you will. So we should put the chandelier here like so. And then this on top of there. How about we have this hanging over the house a little bit? That's a bit much. Let's see, can we slide this underneath here? Is there any room for, oh, it is. There is. It might work. Might be able to get it done. See, it's the tinkering. It's the tinkering that becomes the most time-consuming aspect of any project, because it's the lack of respect for time that has that creates the need for tinkering, or the entitlement to tinker. There we go. I'm actually going to leave this on top like so. That works for me. And then we're not going to use, can't we use that? We can, but I don't want to cover up. No, I'm going to leave it as it is. I might stamp something on the outside of that. But I do like the idea of the flowers. Yeah, that's going to work for me. All of this thought was so much unnecessary thinking. Don't try that at home, guys. Just commit to something and do it. If it don't work, pull it off and try something else, but don't spend all your craft time debating and deliberating. Not like your good friend here. Her, me. Let me cut a little bit of this off. This is what I try to avoid also, fussy cutting. This is the only part of crafting that I actually do not like to do. It's tedious and I don't find it relaxing. There are many other things in my life that require tediousness, and I don't welcome it in my crafting area. I don't. I want to slap some stuff together and make it look cute and be satisfied. Okay, so we got that one. That's a little bit better. I'm not looking for perfection, fam. And of course, I'll have to sew it in place. Do I want it that thick? I'll embellish it later. I don't want it that thick. What is underneath there that's so sticky? Oh, glue. Go figure. The glue that I put down. Let's use the guillotine. Nope, that didn't work. Let's see. I'm gonna have to cut this with the scissors. I think my guillotine might be a little dull, I would say. Okay, I think that might work. It's cut to within an inch of its life, but it's here nonetheless. All right. Trim off a little bit more, and we should be good. There we go. And there we have it. All right, so let's get that baby down. I will have to sew these off camera. And again, the next video will obviously be decorating the two. I don't know if I'll do both of them in the same sitting, but I could have used lace on that. Let's see if I still got it. Should I? Do I have a thin enough lace for that? I could leave well enough alone at this point, you know. I could have. I'm going to take that off very gently, and I'm going to sew it first before I put it down. Let's see what we got done. Not much. But it's been 30 minutes. Whether I've edited to 30 minutes or not. It's been a while. And my son is taking a test later, so Mom's going to have to put some lunch on and get him ready for his big test. Big assessment, I should say. So listen, stay tuned for the next video where you'll see the items that I've already said that I wanted to sew in. Finally sewn into these journals. And I think I want to use this sequence mix, not as, oh Jesus, not as sequence, but, well, as sequence, obviously. All right, so as I have shown you, as you guys saw me do on here, I worked on putting that cute little thing in. That would be really cute with a label or something at the bottom of it, you know. Something like so, minus this part. That would be cute, but we'll work on that when we come back. Put the lace on here, and I worked on this cute little flip out. And I'm going to sew in the things that I said that I wanted to sew in. And with regards to this shaker mix, I think instead of actually using it as a shaker, I want to sew them on some type of fabric to add to the cover. That would be perfect and on time. And Suzanne Lee, if you're watching, thank you so much for thinking of me those couple years back when you sent this in Happy Mail, because today it's coming in handy. Now listen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. There is a link below to Patreon. And this will also be in the junk journal playlist for those who are new to junk journaling and want to get a little bit of background and check out how I do things. You know, everybody does it different. You're going to do it different from me as well. But I've got a little, well, it's not little, a playlist full, jam-packed full of videos pertaining to junk journals, ephemera, journaling elements, tags, journal cards, and different journal series. So If you're interested, click the link for the playlist. And then there's also, again, some items that I typically use on the channel that I have linked to Amazon, that if you see it here, there's a chance that it's there. So below, there's a short list of those items. Now listen, I am so excited to be back, guys, and I hope that you're happy to have me back, because I'm happy to be here. Okay? Listen, until we're back here together on Patreon and YouTube, my friends, stay encouraged, stay blessed, stay creative and crafting. Bye for now. Lunchtime.
If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe to join the crafty community, and be sure to click the bell for notifications of new uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Now stay tuned for more from Livie's Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel. Bye for now.